Samanan, guys. So a couple of weeks ago, if I can call it that, a couple of weeks ago, I was like in my lounge, my mom, my kids, and I can't remember what I was doing, but I was talking to my partner and we were laughing and, she was saying whatever she was saying. And my kids did something out of pocket. And I turned from this laughing and whatever we're doing, and I shouted them, "Yeah, Nina, you got anything inside?" And I go back and we carry on laughing, yabon. And my mom looks at me, "Hi, Toby," and I'm like, "Oh, Coco," and now she's like, "I wanna sing out to bipolar," you know. And I know what she was saying because again, from her point, I went from laughing to instantly shout. And then from shouting to laughing. And you're thinking about it and you're like, well, you have extreme personalities or you've moved in extreme way. You've gone from sun to rain, from summer to winter. And that's how we see things like I Bipolar. And she was saying it obviously from a lack of understanding of the true disorder that it is. But it took me on this journey and this spiral where I was like, okay, let me hear what she was trying to say, and yes, it may be tongue in cheek, but I remember studying things like this in varsity. Guys, I'm no clinical psychologist. I'm no qualified what. I'm just a guy who graduated with psychology and philosophy. So I know this much. So I'm not doing a self-diagnosis. I'm just saying, Witty, I did a deep dive. I did my own research, #Google, to try and actually remind myself, Witty, what is it that we studied back in the day? And is she right? Do I have bipolar? So what's in a name, what's in words, what's in language, one of the things that I really understood when I was going through varsity in life, whatever the case is the importance of language. We will say someone is an alcoholic, but what we mean is that that person abuses alcohol, not that they're an alcoholic. We just say these words. What is an alcoholic? And an alcoholic is a person who's dependent on alcohol. What is a person who abuses alcohol? It's a person who uses alcohol as a coping mechanism. So if you are laid off from work and then you are feeling low and you start drinking every day, you are abusing alcohol. You break up with your girlfriend, you're abusing alcohol. An alcoholic is a person who will fuck everything. They need alcohol. They will not go to work. They will neglect their kids. They will stop showering. They'll stop changing their clothes because they need alcohol, much like a drug addict. A person who abuses alcohol, whatever, when they broke, they don't drink. A person who's an alcoholic will make a plan. They will sell the pots. They will sell their booty for alcohol. That's the importance of it. Many people, hey, South Africans are alcoholics. No. December, context, people were partying and they were drinking. Some people were drinking because they were chasing girls. Some people were drinking, whatever the case is. January, they broke. All of a sudden, they stopped drinking because they broke. If they were alcoholics, they would have made a plan to still drink every day. So just, again, the importance of words, the importance of language, the importance of understanding these type of things. So again, in my little deep dive, I'm like writing down notes around bipolar, writing down notes around another thing where people speak about all the time, things like anxiety. And excuse me, in unpacking bipolar, I got to an epiphany. I got to a question which might be very, very controversial, because in unpacking the symptoms, I started asking myself, are Black South Africans bipolar? Hear me out. I know you're going to get touched. In my psychology class, what we were taught, is everyone has all of these things. So from your anxiety to your bipolar to your, you name it, we all have it. The thing is that it's to what degree? To what degree? Let's take something like anxiety. Obviously, if you think about all the matrics that wrote end of year last year in 2024, when the results are coming out, they're going to get anxious, and that's human. That's okay. They're going to be anxious of the unknown. Here's the difference. If you wrote matric, like all other matrics, throughout the year, you were good, you were getting between 60-65%, you are fine. You applied to go to your university to get into marketing, you got accepted. However, after you wrote your matric, throughout December, when all your friends were partying, spending time with family, whatever the case may be, you were at home in your room, just living in that state of anxiety, living in that state of anxiety. That becomes a problem, because once that anxiety is debilitating and you can't do shit, you can't get out of bed, you can't eat, you can't this, then you've got an anxiety disorder. How much does it happen? How frequent does it occur? That's the disorder. So if you went from one extreme of your personality to another extreme, that doesn't necessarily mean that you've got a bipolar disorder. All it tells us is that you've just had a manic episode of really, really hot weather to really, really cold weather. And that's okay. People have that. People go ups and downs. It's the roller coaster called life. The question is, how often does this happen? How often does this happen? Is it debilitating at times? I know so many people that are literally living two different lives, to a point where this one life doesn't know that this other one exists. There's people that go out partying crazy Friday, Saturday party, they sleep around, they party, they sleep around, they party Saturday, they sleep around, they party, they go crazy, this one personality. And then they wake up on Sunday morning and they brush their teeth and they get dressed and they sit in church and they go, hallelujah, Lord Jesus Christ. And the church person, this version of them and that version are extreme, totally opposite, and they don't even exist on the same plane. This one has no idea who that person is, and this person has no idea who that person is. You see it with people who are Navy SEALs, or with on the one side they go around murdering, on the other side they're this beautiful, happily family, wow. And all these things, I'm like, man, these are two human beings. These are totally, and again, the manic episodes are just a symptom or just a sign of what's this thing? Of bipolar, where you have this hyperactivity of something, hyper drinking, hyper sex, hyper this, hyper, and then boom, church. You're a Navy SEAL. Kill everybody. I'm gonna kill you. Boom, I'm family, I'm this. And you're like, those two personalities are crazy. And again, I'm not saying when you get to work, you become someone else. I get that we have to adjust and acclimatize to the environment that we're in, but you are very much conscious. I'm at work, I hate being here, but I'll be here and I'll shovel shit type of thing. But there's people who have split. Who they are at home is so extreme to who they are at work. If people at work saw who they were at home, they wouldn't be able to identify that person. They'd be like, what? Wow. And that's what I see with a lot of black people. Fam, do you even know who you are? You're so extreme. Do you even know who you are? Another symptom of bipolar is poor decisions. Lord knows I've made my poor decisions, and I think as a black nation, we really struggle with decision making. Like, we make the most horrific financial decisions. We make the most horrific decisions for our futures, for our kids, for our family. Bad. So I don't want to get into too much detail, because we know you make shit decisions, I make shit decisions. The question is, how often do we make shit decisions? And one thing that we saw in December, we'd wake up hanging saying we're not going to drink again, and then we continued making shit decisions. We woke up without the notification from banks saying stop spending money, and we carried on. So we made poor decision upon poor decision upon poor decision upon poor decision. A lot of us, including myself, and I'm putting myself as captain of this team, have this grandiose thoughts of thinking that we are more important than everyone else, like unearned. Look at me, I deserve the world because I'm just really, So when I think about our black sisters who, I am the table, or I'm bringing nothing. Oh my God, if he doesn't have a car, but if he doesn't have a car, I was like, Sissy, why do you feel like you're more important than he is? Why do you feel like you're more important than others? I know so many people, people that live on grants, manje, 450, Wednesday, 450. Bro, you're getting free fucking money for doing shit. Some of us have to work every day. You go and you have to fucking just chill and get a free RTB house and get free hospitalization and get free schooling and get free this and get free that, and you still feel entitled. You still feel better than. You still feel like you want more, but you're giving nothing back into the economy. Now walk on the corners, busy selling apples, selling a mascon, selling a makwing. When uhlelendlini nanga amajita adayisa ama-mofire nama-coke namanzi emarobhothini wena ubhiza uhlelendlini. That's another symptom. Risk-taking behavior. Oh my gosh. Unprotected sex, sex with strangers, fucking drinking and driving, going to the dingiest place just for a jaw. These are all the symptoms of a person who is bipolar, And again, I'm not saying Wuti, everybody takes risks now and again. I'm saying Wuti, how often does this happen? How frequent does this happen? These risks. That's what I'm talking about. You having unprotected sex with a random stranger on a Thursday, and again on Friday, and again on Saturday, and again on, like, come on, and then here's the thing, when you go back home, you become someone else. Let me just get a little bit deeper and just unpack myself a little bit. So another red flag is hypersexuality when it comes to bipolar. Hypersexuality, we can split it into three. Hypersexuality is split into three. So the first one is people who were sexually abused as kids. So let's look at guys like your R. Kelly, your P. Diddy's, a lot of our sisters who have a very, very, very high body count. I'm not saying body count yabo 8. I'm talking about body count yabo 50, 60. A lot of those sisters were sexually abused, and they become hypersexual in their older lives. And the reason why is because they're trying to reclaim and take back the power of their body, and unfortunately hurt people, but that's a coping mechanism. So the first one, when I think about hypersexuality, is because these people were abused sexually. The second one, the one that I fall in, is the one where you need validation. Maybe you were middle child, or you didn't get enough of what you want, whatever the case is, So you go out into the world and saying, I'm good enough, pick me, look at me, please like and subscribe and follow me on Instagram and make me feel important, validate me, like that type of shit. So as a man, how do you get validation? As a lion, how do you validate a lion? You validate a lion by saying, this is the biggest, baddest lion. It caught the most bucks, So for me, going out to the world and wanting Amachita to pat me on the back, hashtag no Diddy pause. I'm just saying, for Amachita to see me as the biggest, baddest lion, I need to get all the bitches, so that I can get validated. So when I walk into a space, I'm like, yeah, I've been with like 20 of these chicks. Because you want that validation, So a lot of people do that. And again, that's a sign of bipolar, And then the third one of the hypersexuality is the chemical aspects of it. Meaning, Uguti, you might not be having sex with a lot of people, but you might be addicted to porn, and jerking off. And again, these are natural things. Having jerking off is natural. The problem is that you guys are jerking off 6 times, 7 times a day. No. What's happening there? So again, once it becomes excessive and it becomes hyper, there's many married couples that have sex, that enjoy having sex once, twice a day. Sure. Once it becomes hyper, many people want to do this. It's a time for you to say, pause. Why am I chasing what I'm chasing? So it's all these type of things. And when you unpack these symptoms, you look again at me and I look again at my black people and I go, yes, as black people are hypersexual. Whether it was because they were sexually abused and raped, whether it's because we want validation, so now we're on social media doing these stupid things, showing our ass, whatever the case is for validation, or whether there's a chemical aspect of it where people are jerking off and doing all these snacks things, so that they can get their kick, type of thing. And there's many other things. Obviously, there's one where you have obviously the darker side of having suicidal thoughts and depression, the ones where you're constantly in your own thoughts and your own watwati, talking all the time, blah, 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 so all these things, I'm like literally sitting and I'm like, shit, am I bipolar? Am I bipolar? Hey, Pensy, no ways. So I'm going to go speak to someone who's a professional and I'll come back to you guys and I'm going to be like, okay, here's the situation. And again, if I am, then I am. Like, it's, we've had this stigma because we watch movies and we see this person who is laughing on one side, ha, 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 and then all of a sudden they start crying. Ah. You're like, no, man, we all have these things. It's just to the degree of it. It's like having a little rotten tooth somewhere. It's not like bad. It's just, fix it, brush it, go to the dentist, let them clean it out, fill it, then you're fine. Good. So it's just something for thoughts. I want to also unpack a bit of anxiety as well. Maybe I'll drop that in the next video, around our struggles with anxiety and how we go about dealing with our struggles with anxiety. The problem is that as a nation, we have a lot of unhealed trauma, and we carry this unhealed trauma. We have a lot of these problems, these disorders that we haven't diagnosed as yet, and we carry that. You know, as a black nation, we will say, hey, I hate white people. White people are the devil. Oh, yeah, white people are the worst. But at the same time, you're like, oh, please, you know. And I'm not saying it in the sense of you need a job. I'm saying it in the sense of, for many black people, not all, for many black people, if they were given a choice between working for another black person or white person, they'd work for a white person, you know. So again, on the one side of your mouth, you hate these people. Oh, I hate white people. On the other side, you want to work for them. On the one side, you hate these people. On the other side, you want to emulate them. You want to bleach your skin to be lighter. You want to have weave like them. You know, you want to do your eyelashes or whatever. You want to use L'Oreal and Maybelline to look as white as possible. You want to speak English. You want to watch rugby and drink brandy, all the things that assimilate to their culture, yet on the one side you hate them so much. I hate white people. I'm doing everything to show that I'm exactly like them. You know, it's crazy. I know so many guys who won't say, they won't say it publicly. They'll never say it publicly. If I say to them, hey, bro, and I'm talking about guys that are like so pro-black, and you speak to them like, hey, bro, if there was a white girl who's an 8 out of 10, your definition of whatever your 8 out of 10 is, personality, looks, whatever, and then there's a black girl who's also an 8 out of 10, who would you want to date? And many of them in public spaces will always say black is the best, black is the, but in the here they'll say a white girl. There's an inferiority complex. There's a way that he views her as superior. There's a way that society will view them. It's the difference between driving a $500,000 Hyundai and a $500,000 BMW. Most people will go for the BMW because, again, it speaks to feeling superior to the next person, feeling this level of grandiose entitlement, whatever, when it comes to that whole bipolarism. And again, I'm not saying you're bipolar. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying what I'm saying what maybe consider certain aspects about your life. You know, just sit down, just do yourself a favor. Watch this video, say Pence's talking bullshit. Good. Go to Google. Symptoms of bipolar. Check them out. See if they plug into your life. Not saying they do. See if they plug into your community. Not saying they do. And then maybe, should you want to take another step further, go speak to a professional. The reason why I'm going on this journey for myself is because I'm slowly but surely trying to tick off things that I can improve upon. You know, if I can go to a doctor and they say, hey, listen, you need to actually get into some multivitamins and minerals. And if that's going to help me sleep better, why not? Why won't I do that? You know, why won't I want to try and improve my life 1% at a time? And if I can just prove 1% a month, just one, if I can go to a psychologist and say, you know, here's this thing, what you just need to do is that you just need to drink more green tea, and you need to make sure that every morning you sit and you plan your day. As an example, you know, because I'm not saying which I'm extreme, I'm just saying, let's say that's the example. If that's going to make me 1% better in Jan, and then in February, I speak about something else, and that makes me another 1%. And then in March, I speak about anxiety, and that makes me 1%. But at the end of the year, let's just say I've went there 10% improvement, you know. So on this journey, I'm trying to grow. I'm trying to be better. I'm trying to develop myself so that I can be better for my loved ones, so I can be better for my community. And as guys, please just drop some comments below. Just let me know what you guys think. If you agree. If you disagree, let's disagree respectfully. Share this video far and wide, because it might start a really, really important discussion and debate just around mental health, and it might start a discussion around people trying to find solutions to improve themselves and make themselves healthier and better. Anyway, please subscribe if not yet subscribed, and have yourselves a fantastic day. And Sunday, guys.